You're gonna be like, oh my God, how did you catch him? Are we ready?
Hey guys.
Hi everybody.
Welcome to the Fiance Tag Q&A. This is... So this is a long time coming, but I asked you guys to submit some questions via Instagram and we are off. It is finally happening today. So the first question, of course, is how did you guys meet? In West Hollywood, there is this superfoods healthy grocery store called Air One. I was walking in and Kellen was walking out and he just somehow, like, I had an energy pull to him and he just like caught my attention. I always say I registered his face, but that day I had my sunglasses on and my cap on, so we didn't interact at all. I just basically saw Kellen on the way into the market and I was like, okay, register his face, and he has just like these really beautiful eyes that I noticed. So nothing happened. And then afterwards, when I was leaving Air One, I was sitting in my car and I look over to the left and then Kellen was sitting in the car next to me and we both have Audis, and I was like, wow, that's so strange. Like, both of us had the same car. Again, nothing happened. This whole time me just noticing Kellen. And then a few days later, there's this dating app called Raya, and then Kellen messaged me and I was like, oh my God, that's the guy from Air One, I have to say hi. Because usually I just am not responsive on dating apps and I'll just take my sweet time, but I was just like, immediately I was like, oh my God, I have to talk to him. That's my side of the story.
So I saw a photo of Ellen and I thought, wow, she's so beautiful. So I paid the extra $2.99 to send her a direct message to make sure that she saw me, because obviously looking at her, she's getting pursued by hundreds, if not thousands of guys. So I thought, how can I break through? And I sent her this direct message and really thought nothing of it. I actually had no concept that she would ever write me back. And then a couple days later, all of a sudden I got a message in my inbox and it read, hey Kellen, it's Ellen. And I thought, oh, she's really funny. And we talked a little bit, chatted back and forth. I tried to get the number. I asked her for her phone number, she denied it. We were talking though, and she was pretty funny. We talked about how we might have like a talk show because our names are Kellen and Ellen. So she didn't respond for like a week, and I was like, oh man, I like sent her 2 messages with no reply, but I had this feeling that there was something there, that was something special. So I conjured up all of my wit and all of my humor, and I wrote her what I call the Hail Mary message, which was the last message I could send her. And if she responded, great. If not, it was over. So I wrote something to the effect of, hey Ellen, don't sleep on your boy Kellen. Our morning show is gonna change the world. She immediately wrote back, gave me her phone number, and then we scheduled our first date.
Yeah, that's our very LA love story. Mm-hmm. Okay, question number 2. What was your first impression of each other?
I thought you were beautiful. You rolled in like you had your very classic, like I'm an influencer, streetwear outfit on, like crop top with gigantic Balenciaga shoes on. She was like 10 minutes late to the date. But I noticed that she held herself with like a lot of like, you know, she just had like a really positive energy. We had coffee for our first date at Go Get 'Em Tiger in downtown. And I distinctly remember I ordered pastries and she wouldn't eat the pastries. She drank the coffee, but she wouldn't eat the pastries. And I thought, oh man, like she's just hanging me out here to dry. I ate both of the pastries.
Question I hadn't really thought about that. He was so confident and I was so attracted to that. Like, he was so sure of himself,
What's not to be confident about?
So confident when I wouldn't eat that pastry, but I didn't eat that pastry because I, at the time, was doing like the smile direct. It was like you put in those teeth, and I was like, I'm not just gonna pop this out at the table. So that was my reason. And then why he did this earlier is I really liked his hands. We were checking out and he bought some coffee beans and he was just asking them a few questions like, which coffee beans should I get ever? at his hands, we're like, wow, he has such nice and manly hands. He does really beautiful hands.
Stay tuned. We'll do another video on my hands later. That's another video coming in our video series. The hand video.
So that was our first impressions of each other. Next question is, what is the age gap between us? So I recently turned 30 in September. I'm a Virgo.
And I'm 38.
Libra
life.
Yeah.
So 8 years.
Mm-hmm.
The perfect gap.
It really is. I think this is the biggest gap. This is the biggest gap that I've ever dated, and it just the gap.
Is that my follow-up question?
No, the gap. I actually don't know the answer to that question, but this is actually the biggest age gap for me, and it's worked out so well. I'm all about dating older.
Cool.
I don't know, what's your biggest age gap?
For dating? I mean, I think more like younger, not older. So maybe like 12 years. I might have dated a girl that was like 12 years younger than me.
Damn, I didn't know that. That's a big gap.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Call me Big Gap Kellen.
Anyways, he's my biggest gap.
Aw, she's my favorite gap.
She's my favorite gap.
She's my only gap. That's it for life.
Okay. What was our most memorable date? I feel like it's probably the same one for both of us.
So then on the count of 3, 1, 2, 3, the spot downtown that I told you.
You loved me.
Woo! I went in for that 4-letter word. It was such a magical moment.
It really was.
Yeah.
And I love telling this story because we were at this really, really busy, bustling restaurant in downtown. It was an Italian restaurant called Rosso Blue.
Pre-COVID.
That's true, pre-COVID. And we were sitting outside, like I said, it was a lot going on. And then all of a sudden, Kellen grabs my hand and then he said, I love you. And the world like literally stopped, and it got so quiet, and all I saw was Kellen, and everything in the back was like blurry and moving in slow motion. It was like a movie sequence, and I was like, oh, now I know where they pull that from. Like it actually happens in real life.
Yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm. Special moment. Mm-hmm. She said it back. If anyone's wondering, I was so in love with Ellen. Just a few weeks, maybe a few months after we met, I knew that there was just something different about us, and like everything just felt different. Like the whole relationship process, getting to know each other, talking, hanging out, it was just like, it felt right. It kind of felt like I found my human. And you know, you've had history where you've dated people, and sometimes they are really good relationships, sometimes they're fucking horrible. But you know, you might look back and think, oh, you know, should I have done that? Could I have done this? You know, we tend to ruminate as humans. It's very common. But meeting Ellen just solidified my entire history in the sense that there was nothing to look back again for. Everything about our lives is just now building towards the future. Like every decision, everything that happened prior to her was exactly what needed to happen, good and bad, because it led me to her. Off the top of the dome. Oh, look at her. She's getting emotional.
I didn't even know what the question was now.
That wasn't the question.
That was
our most memorable date, but
oh, that's right.
I can't say that date without talking about our love.
That's true.
So what's the next question? Who farted first?
We know what that is. What's your favorite thing about each other? My favorite thing about Kellen is definitely his sense of humor, his care, like actual real care for every person he meets, no matter how close he is to you or whether you're a stranger. I feel like you're so kind and you take your time with everybody, and you're really great with your words. Again, just going back to whoever the audience is. I feel like he can really meet people. Ooh, and I also love how we bring out the best in each other, and I really feel like you build me up and like you support everything I do, and it just feels so safe with you.
Wow. A part of me wants to say that that's a stupid question, because I love all of you. You know, it's like a full thing. You know, like everything about you I love. And when you're at your best, when you're at your worst, it's all like the same, because it's this like one big fluid like moment in life together. I think what I admire about you is your professionalism and like how much you care about your friends and how much you care about your family and how hard you work and how much like pride you bring to your content and what you create. It's like you really operate at such a high level. It's amazing. And your ability to make tough decisions. That's a really hard thing to do. And she has her friends' backs, and she's had my back from day one, and it's just like so sweet. So yeah.
I'm gonna steal that for her vows.
Her vows are basically gonna be a collection of everything I've said to her.
Yeah.
But I will not have my vows written. I will do all of my vows off the top of the dome.
When did you know you wanted to marry each other? And how did you know he was the one? I knew very early on. I think it was like 3 months in. I think a friend actually asked me about how my relationship was going, and I was like, oh, I want to have his babies. Yeah, I think it was like 3 months in for me. And I feel like a lot of people ask the question of like, how did you know he was the one? And I was so curious about that question too when I was single and I would see people getting married, and I was so confused. And you hear this time and time again, people are just like, when you know, you know. And it's just this feeling. So I feel like that's how I knew you were the one. It's just, you know.
I think early on, I knew that I wanted to marry Ellen. You know, after a couple months, it just like felt really right. However, you know, there was a kind of like a monumental moment in our relationship that it just confirmed everything that I thought. In December, my mom got really sick and she was in the ICU, and it was a really tough situation. Not pretty, you know, like it was tough to see visually. It was really sad watching her go through her last days, and she ended up passing away, and thankfully we were there with her, and we spent, you know, some of her last really great living moments together, especially Thanksgiving last year, which was a really special moment for us. You know, Ellen stood by my side at what was the hardest moment of my life. Like, she was so strong and supportive with me through this like time where I was at my weakest and my most vulnerable, and she showed me everything I ever would need to know about her in those couple days. She's gonna take a cry break. Phone call in the middle of the night, you have to like rush to the hospital. It's like really traumatic, you know? And for someone who doesn't have a lot of experience dealing with that, it's really profound, the strength that this woman possesses. I love you. Next question.
Okay, how do we balance busy work lives and spending quality time with each other?
Stop this. Hold on really quick. This is how she does it. There's a table right here. Pretend that I'm you and you're working. This is me working, and this is what she does. She comes in and just sits right on top of me while I'm working, and it just sits there. And then she goes like this, I'm working too. That's how you do it.
And that is how you spend quality time with your man.
I mean, look, you just got to know how to read the room, you know, and give each other space.
We just like really, really enjoy being around each other. So I think for us, it's actually, we have to be more mindful of, or at least for me, just when we're working, we just go into our separate rooms and work all day, and then at night we just like shut it down, and then we come together and just spend time together, and we just try to stay off our phones. Yeah. And then we basically reserve the weekends for our quality time. How did you decide it was the right time to propose?
Let's just make this shit official.
We got engaged 8 months into the relationship.
Yeah. You know, I was in love. I wanted to marry this woman and have her kids, and it just felt like there was no reason to wait.
Oh, how did Kellen propose? On the night of the 15th, I was out with my friends, and then Kellen was like, oh, do you mind just coming home a little bit earlier? So I was like, yeah, sure, no problem. There were just rose petals and candles lit from the entrance. And I walked in and I was like, oh my God, this is like a belated Valentine's Day. So this is like me thinking that on the walk in, and then I turned the corner and Kellen was in a suit. So I was like, oh my God, this is happening right now. I like kind of freaked out, and I literally I didn't see it coming, but we had picked our engagement ring. So I knew it was imminent, like any time now. But since we were traveling to Asia, like a part of me was like, oh, maybe he'll do it in Asia. And I was so set on that I think I was so caught off guard. But I'm so glad he did it at home. We did it very intimately at home right before our trip.
Mm-hmm. It was dope. She was shook.
Oh my God, is this happening right now?
And I had Bad, Not Good playing, Time Moves Slow, because that was like a song that we had vibed to on a couple nights. So, you know, it was fresh. She said yes.
I did. What are the essential elements to keeping a healthy relationship, and what are some tips for a strong relationship? Foremost, trust and respect are just standard. You have to have respect for each other, the way you talk to each other, even when you're upset or, I don't know, in anything. Relationships, it's so wild because that just seems like obviously one core element, but I feel like I've seen relationships, I've been in a relationship that had trust issues, and I don't feel like that's something that we should have to worry about. Communication. I feel like Kellen really makes me feel very safe in this space. He really allows me to get vulnerable and in touch with my feelings, because in the past I was just like a wall. I just didn't open up, but he really makes me feel safe and lets me be vulnerable.
Be more focused on being understood than being right.
See that shit? Okay.
How many more questions do we have?
This is the last one.
Ooh, the last one.
Okay.
I got some donuts over there that I'm gonna fucking uncork.
Okay, so the last question is, when is our big day? When are we getting married? Pre-COVID, when he had proposed, we were set on getting married in 2021, which is coming up very soon, and I'm thinking of having like a very big wedding, but obviously plans have shifted. And I think we were kind of playing with the idea of just running away, just getting out of town, basically, Kellen and I just getting eloped, just doing something very, very small, and I think that feels
Just had a little sidebar there. Her and I had a little chat.
Now we have pivoted, word of 2020, and are still planning on having our wedding in early 2021, but a very, very small and intimate one.
Yeah.
Very safe.
Very excited.
Yeah, because we just don't want to put our plans on hold and our life on hold. And I think we just come to terms with that, just learning how to like pivot and navigate and still live our lives during this time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Try to just continue to like live and just move through your life, and you know, don't put things on hold, because you know, we don't know exactly how things are supposed to be or what they're supposed to be like, and you know, we wanted a big wedding, but that wasn't in the cards for us. But it doesn't take away from our wedding, because our wedding is not about the size of the wedding. Our wedding is about us, you know, exchanging our vows and entering into this lifelong partnership together, which in my opinion, we're already in it, and that's a fact. I want to go for a new career, go for a new career. You want to make a big life change, it's like there's no better time than now to push your limits and experience, because unfortunately we don't really know what tomorrow will bring. We only know what we have today. And today we have love. Lots of love. Yeah, you know, you want to wrap the video up, put a bow tie on it, have a takeaway, a message, a dirty white sock. If you know, let us know in the comments below on how to keep your socks clean. Any parting words for everybody?
No, that was it. Thank you for watching our video. Thank you for the questions. Thank you for spending time with us. And we will catch you on the next video.
Can I say one more thing?
Yeah.
Thank you for supporting Ellen and being there for her, and it's really cool, and she's amazing, right? Peace out.
We did it.
Cool. Now let's do take 2 with hair and makeup.